2 weeks to really touch this thing. I kind of rinsed it off the other day, but that's about it. So Friday off. I changed the oil last night. Had the wrong oil filter, so I gotta go to O'Reilly's in a little bit and get a different one. But I want a little list for the show I'm trying to make it to. So knocking a couple things off. I'm going to toss the bumper back on, I guess, the front bumper. I ordered new tires for it. They're Chinese junk probably, but that's what these are too. So these lasted a couple years. So got those ordered. So look kind of like Netto 420s. I'll go ahead and pop a picture on the screen. But get that on there, ordered. So I'm going to toss this bumper back on real quick. And then I may put the back bumper back on today too. Be kind of nice to have it back. I need to haul a trailer or something. And I also noticed these springs. Can we tell from this side? These springs, I think that's supposed to be straight or just perpendicular to the shock. And it's all kinds of sideways. The springs all kind of bowed. So I'm also debating on buying new struts for this piece of junk. Probably needs them. I don't know how many miles are on that total when I pulled that front end out from under it, and that's about the only thing I haven't replaced on there. I'm going to toss the back bumper on too. Might as well. These bolts are pretty rough though, so I'm just going to toss 2 of the bolts in. So they're pretty rough looking. Toss a couple of them in so I hold it up. And I go to town in a little while. I go to Atwood's and grab some new bolts. So I don't think I have anything this size right here. This is 8.6 or 9.8. Symmetric, I don't know. But toss a couple of those bolts in, the better looking ones. And then I'll go ahead and put the bumper back on after I pull that license plate off. We'll get that on, got 2 bolts in. It's crazy how much difference putting a bumper on the truck makes, but get some new bolts of that wood in a little while. I guess I'll go ahead and toss the old license plate back on. I'm gonna do that real quick. License plate tossed back on. I just put some dedicated quarter 20 rib nuts in there. You see that or not? Put some quarter 20 rib nuts in those square holes. I think it should hold. A little bit of torque on that should be fine. So, go. It's quite a few hours later, but made it run to town earlier. Got some new bolts for the back bumper, which for some reason these bolts were $3.40 a piece. These bolts $3.40 a piece. For some goofy 14 by 2 bolt, metric bolt, and then the nuts were like $3.40 a piece. I can't understand, but that's it is what it is. I'm not cutting the bolt off or the nut off the inside of the frame and putting a new one on there, so it is what it is. I got the right oil filter, paid double what some racing charges, so that's great. I bought some normal junk I use all the time. So I guess I'm probably gonna put the oil filter on first, probably the most important thing. Put the oil filter on real quick and then finish putting the back bumper on and try to find the wiring so that I can wire up my LED lights again. So if I cut it off, I don't know what happened. I guess must have been junk. I must have cut it off whenever I pulled the bumper off and redid the wiring. So messed with that too. Well, there we go. Fancy new bolts on rusty crap. Yep. That'll be easy next time I pull it off. Like I said, I'm sure what I did with the old harness for the license plate lights. I had something there for sure because they worked a while back, but I don't know. So I got this right here rigged up. It's not awesome or the best harness I've ever made, but it should do, I think. So it'll be, had a steel connector from the, this one's got a factory light on it. So I can find it somewhere over here. There's a factory light right there, and it still works. From 1984. I guess this truck didn't come with a bumper from what I've read, so that was still working, but it does no good over here, especially with the exhaust in the way. So I just cut it off. It gets power from right here. So that's that plug I used right there. Connected it to the hot wire, so I got a hot wire to the driver's side, passenger side, get ground. Just gotta figure out a spot to ground it, which I'm just gonna drill a hole probably in the frame. Unless I see a good spot to put one, because I don't like tying it back into all this crap. So first drill a hole, maybe somewhere right here, something like that, out of the way where I just unclip it, pull the bumper off next time, so I don't have to worry about having to pull wires off of. And this right here, I could ground it right here probably or something, but I think it'd be easier in the long run just to go ahead and do it right there. So thought about it, I just went ahead and self-tappered it. That'll be fine right there. It'll stay right there. And the frame off a little bit, put that self-tapper in there. Gotta tie the wiring up, clean up a little bit, but I think that'll be just fine. We'll turn these lights on and make sure it works, which it should. If it works, we'll call it almost done. Alrighty. Those lights back. All the lights still working, so one more project knocked off the list. This next thing, I got this bolt in the other night. So I got that bolt in for the top. This bolt down here, I couldn't find the bolt for down here. You can't even see the hole back there. But so I couldn't find that bolt, so I had to go to Atwood's and buy one, which is obviously a specialized bolt. Apparently a slippery bolt, but special bolt, fine thread, so I couldn't buy the cheap ones. Had to buy the individually wrapped ones that were like $3 a piece. So, but I only got 2 of them, so got that washer drilled out. It's about the right size because I didn't have one that didn't have a whole lot of slop. So now I can put that in, bolt that down, that hole down there, way back yonder. I can bolt that in. And then to put everything else in though, I had to pull out both of the seats so I can get to the mounting spots inside of there. That's probably where I'm gonna end up mounting the buffers and stuff. Either there, or I'll have to, if it'll reach, I might can use some of the factory holes, but I think they're all covered up now. I don't know. I feel like I just look at it whenever I get this crap out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this in real quick and then jerk these seats out. This gap right here. So there's a gap from those 2 pieces of metal. So I need a spacer. Make it flush right here so it's not in a weird bind all sideways. So that spacer will go inside of there, touch that, bring it out to right about here. That's the plan anyway. And then these can go onto that plastic and then come up with this gap right here. That's what I'm thinking anyway. This bolt right here is a little short, so that's a metric bolt. I think I have another one right here. Hopefully that'll be long enough. I'm gonna do a little test fit real quick and see if it all lines up. I decided to use the factory spot. That's where the factory spot for the F-150 is for the seat belt. So use that right there. The spot down there that I plan on using. Don't lose anything. Either way, I got this bolt right here, but I need a longer one. So that's focused great. Yeah, fantastic. Yep. So the spot down there, I'm going to use that spot for this one, I think, for the passenger side. But I need a longer bolt because I got the spacer made. That spacer will still be fine. I have to use a couple extra washers, but this bolt right here doesn't have a thread engagement. It's probably got half of another thread engagement, so need a longer bolt. We'll add woods at some point, do that. I did get this right here bolted down, so that part's good to go. So, a little bit of progress, not a whole lot. But get that longer bolt, ratwoods, and hopefully I can get that figured out. Put the seat back in. So I figured while I have the seat out, I might as well go ahead and put some of this sound ender in there. This is Amazon stuff. Pretty good price on it. I think it helped a little bit. It definitely sounds a little bit different. I don't really need any back here on this thicker stuff. It's pretty solid, but I'll eventually put some on that stuff. So throw the seat back in real quick. Got the seat tossed back in. I sound the seat belt feels pretty good. It's a little higher than it probably should be, but better than no seat belt, I reckon. So go over here and pull the other seat out. That was the best technique to use, but that's a spacer. I have a spacer so these don't rub together really. I don't want them just like all at an angle, pressing on each other. So I got a washer, I got this nut to space them out, another washer to space them out, and then these don't space it up off of that seat frame right there. So it doesn't just sit there and rub the seat frame. I think it's gonna work pretty good. I should have plenty of thread engagement, that longer bolt, and if not, I got another longer bolt over there, so this is gonna work. Last night I got that spacer and stuff put in. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might just let it, hopefully the seat will still fit in there, because that thing's got it bulging out quite a bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up real quick, and I can put some of that Amazon sound deadener material in there. So I'm gonna do that either way. And then I guess I'll test fit that seat, and hopefully, all I worry about is the other side hitting that bolt and jamming across and ripping a hole in it. That's the only thing I worry about really. So go ahead and clean that up real quick and then test fit it a little bit. I think I got enough done for right now. Just need to do enough to get the seat in there. Most of the stuff I can do with the seat in there, all the stuff right here I can do with the seat in there just fine. So we're gonna test the seat and see if it'll hit that. Hopefully it doesn't. I got the seat bolted back in. That's good. And I don't believe it is rubbing down there where I thought it might. So that's good also. Seat belt's put in. There's some brand new shocks or struts in the house. So I guess I'm gonna start jacking this thing up and pulling this front end apart so I can get those replaced. And I got an alignment scheduled for next Thursday. So we'll get to it. Well, I got that apart, got the shock off there. Put it the easy way out, or I thought would be the easy way out. And we're gonna take these off so I can just pull the control arm off. But that did not work out like I wanted to. I'm trying to avoid taking the bolt off of the lower ball joint or the upper ball joint because it's just so tedious. Here's a wrench and there's not a whole lot of room, so you gotta do it like a third of a turn at a time maybe. But then finally just going ahead and doing that, pull it out of the way, I got it out. You see what I was talking about it being crooked. I don't know what. Oh, there's a weld broken here. Or if it's just, I don't know what's going on with it, but it's definitely garbage. So I got a pair of new ones in the house, so it should ride better hopefully, because I'm sure this thing's blown out. I mean, you can see what's been rubbing right there. Probably blown out, so hopefully the new Monroes will ride a whole lot better. That's gonna be all for tonight. About 11 o'clock. I'm gonna go shut it down and hopefully jump back on it tomorrow night. But sucked taking that out, but on the bright side, my other tires came in today, so got a full set of tires for this rig, and they should be getting put on next Thursday when I get my alignment, so a little bit of progress. Back out here again, got the old one off last night. These are the new ones. That's part right there from Monroe. Just a quick strut, just a factory replacement thing, so I'm trying to toss this thing in and maybe it'll go in pretty smoothly. Didn't video much of it, it's just like pulling it out. Just reverse. So the easiest way to do it is I drop this whole thing down right here, as low as it would go, and then slip this top part in first. Got these holes aligned, got a nut started on there where to hold it up. I had to play with it a little bit to get the holes to line up down here on this bottom part. But that side's in, I got everything tightened down. I jacked it up and put pressure on everything so it'd be about the right height. And then I tightened the control arm back up and put the sway bar in link, tighten it up, and torque that down on the spring. And then make sure all these are still tight. So on the next one I'm gonna do it easier. I'm just gonna pull this nut off right here on the upper ball joint. I may loosen these up, I'm not gonna try to pull them off like I did last time. I just pick this up out of the way and then drop the whole thing down, and that should be good. So while I was off, I also went ahead and shook and tried to see if I could shake any of the playing the bushings on this big little control arm. Everything seems to be pretty tight, so I went to this tire back on, I guess, and swapped to the other side. The other side wasn't too terrible, but I feel like I get the rhythm better now, so it should be a whole lot faster on this side, I think. That time went a whole lot smoother. The most time smooth part was probably those stupid nuts. I dropped them back in there behind that shock tower, so that kind of sucked to get those out, but got it all on. I'm gonna jack it back up and put it on the ramps again, so it'll be a little bit higher. So I plan on getting under it and clean up a little bit on the frame. So then I'll also see how much higher it is, because I'm pretty sure it was sitting lower, because how that's so crooked and stuff. I think it was sitting lower than it usually does, so should pick it up a little bit, and maybe it'll quit rubbing, because you see it right here. Oh, you can barely see it. Oh, you can see it right there. That tire's been getting that lip right there. I'm hitting bumps and stuff, and when I turn a little bit, it'll pull that lip out. So I gotta beat that back down. I definitely gotta figure that crap out before I start painting on it, because I don't want to paint it and then crack a bunch of paint off the edge of it. That would be pretty infuriating. So jack it up real quick. So I jumped on the bumper a little bit after I got it sitting on the ramps and try to get it settled out a little bit, but definitely sitting higher than it was. Because I can hardly get my hand between here the other day, so a little more room there, so it won't rub as bad. I like that. I mean, I like being slammed, but also I'd rather be functional than slammed, so hopefully that will be a little bit better. So I'm pretty sure it's lower in the back now, so I guess it's a little bit tooted now, but I might probably settle out just a little bit more once I start driving a little bit, hopefully. Not a lot has changed since the last video I took, but I did get the new tires put on, so they look a lot better, a lot more tread obviously. I did get it aligned. He said it was pretty good. So you got it lined up better than it does most factory Grand Marquis Crown Vics, so that's good. It's all straight. Get the steering wheel straightened up while I was in there. Me and the boys got it washed up pretty good last night with some Dawn, because I don't want to use anything with wax or anything in it, so I mean there's no point in using wax. It's primer, you know what I mean? I have to paint it eventually, so I don't want to get it any dirtier than I have to or contaminate it any more than I have to, but probably wipe the glass down a little bit because it's still got some film on it and stuff. Not too bad, but might wipe this painted stuff down a little bit because it's got some water spots and stuff. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect. I mean, I got rust and stuff down there. I mean, just to make it look a little bit better. And then I'd like to put the hood springs in, so I don't have to use this piece of wood anymore because I'm tired of using a piece of wood. So something to hold the hood up. Got the springs down on the shelf somewhere. And I may wipe this crap down a little bit. I don't know how much time I have, but springs are probably one of the first things I need to do. So I also need to scoot these fenders over. They got, you can see it's kind of tight right there, about hand thickness right there. So on this other side, you got quite a bit there. So this whole thing needs to scoot over that way. Pretty much the whole front clip needs to shift over a little bit, which makes sense. I mean, I don't see why that gap right there is bigger down here than it is right there. And then I had a hard time lining the hood up or getting halfway lined up, and it's all kind of crooked. So that is why, though. It's much tighter over here than it is over here because the whole thing needs to scoot that way. I might try to do that first real quick, which is kind of a pain in the butt because you got all these bolts down here you gotta worry about for that front brace. Got that bolt in the back I gotta worry about. Well, you can't even see, it's not focusing right, but there's a bolt in the back right there I gotta worry about, and then all these just regular bolts up here. How to scoot those over, so I'll just see how close I can get it. And maybe let's get over enough. So the hood hinges. There's a block of wood anymore. It's holding itself up, so that's good. Clean the glass up a little bit. It ain't perfect, but I mean, it's got a big crack in it right there. I need to replace the windshield eventually, but that'll be after I paint it, so it'll be fine for now. Went and cleaned the side glass and the back glass up because I had a lot of, especially this one had a lot of soap residue on it from that Dawn. I was roping this in. And then I put this little, I guess, gas filler neck holder in, whatever you want to call it. So it's not all zip tied up right there, so a little better. I was going to move this around as far as like the fenders, get the fenders over right here, making that better, that gap, and like scooting, you know, move all the gaps around, but man, I got this one here scooted over about as far as it's gonna go. So I'm wondering if I need to scoot the whole core support over this way. I mean, probably a 3/8 inch maybe. I'm not sure yet, but that is way more than I want to do, especially with all this battery bracketry and stuff and intake brackets, all this crap in here. That is not a project I'm doing tonight. That's the part I'm gonna get tonight. We'll drive up there tomorrow, hopefully be at the show around, I think 9:30 or something like that, so hopefully make it. It's about an hour drive there, so I haven't driven the truck that far in a while. I think I'm probably fine though. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all in the next one.